Up next on Eco Company,
Teens doing good for the planet. How these students are fighting for a cleaner beach and ocean.
plus a campaign against chemicals.
And I found out that the cosmetics that I was starting to use at age 13 every day were filled with synthetic and often toxic ingredients.
One group's mission to get toxic chemicals off our shelves and out of our cabinets.
And Operation Habitat, saving a home for endangered animals with a little teamwork.
Then it's lunchtime and chemicals aren't on the menu.
How these teens are keeping chemicals off their plates and off the planet too.
Eco Company
Starts now.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Eco Company. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Brendan. Teens are making a difference everywhere you look these days, and you can too.
And if you're looking for some ways to do it, no worries, we've got a few.
First up, take on trash wherever you live.
Jessica met up with a few teens trying to keep it out of our oceans.
Welcome aboard the Derek M. Bayless, a research vessel setting sail with some special researchers on board.
We're very excited to have you guys with us today.
These middle school students are getting their sea legs thanks to the Young Women in Science program run by the Monterey Bay Aquarium. At the helm of this voyage, Captain Dave Robinson.
Thank you so much for having us aboard. So what do you do exactly?
Well, we're really concerned about what's going on out in the ocean with all the trash that's ending up in the ocean and what it's doing to all the critters. And what we're trying to do is pick up all the trash that we find out here.
Today, these young sailors are a part of that mission. It all starts with a look at some of the marine life they're protecting.
Put this plankton net in the water.
It means getting their hands wet too.
You're going to hold this top here really, really tightly, and you are going to open it. You're going to unscrew it, okay? Give this to Christine, and Christine is going to put it under the video microscope. We've got lots of different types. I'll come over here and dig through the kelp and see if we can find some critters. These actually are little animals called bryozoans.
Everything about this trip teaches them about ocean life and why it's important to protect.
Sea otters were hunted. Anybody know why people would hunt? For their fur. Is their fur super thick? Super thick.
And we've actually got a sea otter
on cue.
They won't biodegrade.
It isn't long before a piece of trash makes an appearance.
¿Dónde lo ponemos? Where should we put it? ¿Quién me quiere ayudar? You can give it to Martine. He's marking it on the GPS.
So that's where we found our trash. And it says cigarette butt.
So you saw us capture it on the machine. The next step is to make the big map so we can all see where the trash is.
That's what you see here.
What we've got is a map that's a compilation of all the debris that we've picked up out here. And we've used those points, we've plotted them via the GPS. And what we're trying to figure out is where exactly the trash is coming from.
What are some of the things that you find?
Some of the most common things that we're finding are plastic bags, plastic water bottles, things like cigarette butts.
Plastic is a big problem. Scientists estimate that up to 1 million seabirds and 100,000 marine mammals die from eating plastic every year.
What we've got right here is a great representation of the gut content of one single baby albatross.
Oh wow, just one?
Just one. And if you notice, there's a lot of one-time use disposable plastic items in here.
I can't believe having that inside me.
It's incredible, and imagine you wouldn't be hungry if your stomach was full of this, would you? And that's how they starve to death. And that's why we're working so hard to try and figure out the sources of all this trash, and also to try and help educate the public on what they can do to be better stewards of our oceans.
Now we're going to find out where all the plastic is coming from. Let's go.
You don't have to go far to find out where all that trash is coming from. You guessed it, it's coming from us. The average person tosses out about 5 pounds of trash every day. A lot of that is plastic. These girls are on a mission to stop plastic and other trash from getting even close to the water.
Well, we are looking at the wharf and kind of mapping out where there are garbage bins and recycling bins. We noticed that there was a lot of garbage cans, but no recycling bins. We need one more, Vanessa.
Trisha Moneypenny is an education specialist for the aquarium. She says later they'll be back to talk to businesses about making changes.
Up and down the wharf, all the little chowder samples typically have been plastic. We're seeing that starting to change over now, and actually the girls just went and took a picture of a biodegradable cup for a sample, which is awesome to see, but just last year it was all plastic. And that ends up right in the bay.
That's what these guys don't want. So they're headed now to the beach for trash duty. From throwing our trash away and keeping it off our beaches, to dishing it out of our oceans, and keeping marine animals safe. It's all about keeping what's on land out of here.
And for healthy oceans, we've got to live healthier lives on land.
A win-win for us and the planet.
Another way to take a stand? Start a movement.
Take these next pioneers, Teens Turning Green.
This group of eco-warriors wants to green up our products, and they say it starts with reading the label. At first glance, this store may seem like any other, but it's not. From cosmetics, to school supplies, to all the furnishings for your dorm room, everything you see here is good for the planet. But that's not the only thing that makes this store special. It's being run by the non-profit organization Teens Turning Green.
We're a group of teens trying to educate people about all the different ways that they can green their lives, and that's by replacing products that are filled with chemicals and that can be potentially harmful for your health, and replacing them with products that don't have those chemicals in them.
Their latest project is about how to green up your room, dorm, or wherever you hang your hat.
There are greener alternatives for every possible product.
Teens Turning Green's Kate Smith hopes this temporary shop gives people something to think about.
And what we're trying to do with this organization is educate people about all the different ways that they can green their dorm rooms, and that's from the bedding that they have to the cleaning products and the cosmetics that they use, or even the clothes that they wear, and making sure that they're made with organic cotton and cotton that's not sprayed with pesticides.
Project Green Dorm is just the latest way these teens are reaching out to others. They also do it through green spas like the one they've set up here. It focuses on green cosmetics, which gets back to the root of it all.
We started as Teens for Safe Cosmetics. We're now called Teens Turning Green, and we have a lifestyle component. So that's the 24/7 aspect.
Erin Schrody is a founding member of Teens for Safe Cosmetics. She took action after she started reading product labels.
And I found out that the cosmetics that I was starting to use at age 13 every day, whether it be shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, mascara, were filled with synthetic and often toxic ingredients that have links to cancer, birth defects, and reproductive harm.
So what are some of those harmful ingredients?
So parabens are one. That's a word that you hear a lot, methylpropylbutylparaben. You hear about formaldehyde, which is used to preserve dead bodies, and propylene glycol, which is an antifreeze for your car.
If those words sound like a mouthful, they are. But Erin says it's important to look for all of them on labels.
We've developed a list with chemists called the Dirty 30, which is 30 ingredients that are found commonly in the products we use.
They're doing more than making a list. The group is working with manufacturers of cosmetics and personal care products to make changes. Some are listening, and so are lawmakers.
I just turned 18, and from the moment we started this campaign at age 13, we've been involved in legislative change. We went to Sacramento to lobby for SB 484, which was the first Safe Cosmetics Act of the country. And the governor was going to veto it, and we went and we told him why it was important, and he signed the bill.
And she didn't stop there.
Last June, I went and testified at a California Assembly hearing about the Lips Against Lead bill, so removing lead from lipstick, because the national campaign did a study and found in dozens of commercial brands trace amounts of lead. I was a witness talking, looking in the eyes of our elected politicians and saying, here's why it matters to me, and it should matter to you too.
When I see the energy and enthusiasm and the brilliant ideas of the teens and what they've been able to create, it just feels like something new and something big is happening.
Stacey Malkin founded the National Campaign for Safe Cosmetics, which works closely with the group and helps get it off the ground.
So I really think that the teens turning green and teen activism is the future, and that you guys are going to be the ones that really are able to shift the economy to a green, healthy, sustainable economy.
And just to see the tremendous change that I can bring, just by hanging out with my friends and teaching them different ways that they can green their lives, it's an easy thing to do. And teenagers see that they can make a change, and it's very tangible, and they know that it's a difference in their lives and a difference in the lives of their friends.
It's a call for change that is spreading, with new chapters springing up around the U.S. in places like New York and Texas. Malkin says the future is bright thanks to teens who want to make change.
You have what you need to be able to really make some big changes in the world. And I see a lot of energy and enthusiasm to do that. And I just think that is really a truly bright and hopeful sign for the future.
Endangered animals need your help too.
Coming up next, saving a habitat. How one group of teens goes the extra mile to help out a species threatened by a green invader.
And later, food never tasted so good. Teens reap the tasty rewards of their hard work. So do you love to be out in nature?
Then we have a way to help protect the planet right up your alley. Protect a habitat.
And a little teamwork goes a long way. They are eco-warriors ready to do battle. Their mission to protect these shorelines. The place, Point Pinole Regional Shoreline in Richmond, California. And if you can believe it, it's the former home of a gunpowder company. Even today, it's flanked by a huge oil refinery.
It's a lot of stuff going wrong in the pollution and the water, and it's a lot of stuff that's affecting us as humans, so this can be a good change since us as youth are helping.
She's taking part in a program called Teen Eco Action Week, run by the East Bay Park Service. Bethany Facciandini is a naturalist here.
As a naturalist, I connect people with the environment and lead natural and cultural history walks and other types of programs like camping excursions, backpacking, camps, restoration projects.
A restoration project is just what happens to be in order during our visit. First up, a lesson about just what wildlife they're protecting.
This particular animal thrives in the salt marsh here. Today we are going to be doing a black rail habitat restoration project. The black rail is a threatened species that lives in salt marshes and freshwater marshes, and they're going to be removing an invasive plant species called ice plant that comes from South Africa. With your group, you're going to work as a team to get as much of the invasive ice plant away from the shoreline as possible and then carry it up to this point.
Then after gearing up,
Are you guys ready? Set, go! Great, you guys. So guys, we're gonna try to concentrate in one area so we can complete one area at a time and then spread out from that area.
So what's this floppy little plant here?
This is ice plant, and it's native to South Africa, and South Africa has a climate that's similar to ours, and so it thrives in this region. And as you can tell, it's created this carpet where other plants can't survive and thrive.
We're picking them out to help the native plants get their environment back.
After that job's done, it's not quitting time just yet. You can't visit a shoreline without picking up a little trash before you leave.
And then you're gonna try to pick up all the itty bitty pieces of plastic and styrofoam that a shorebird or another creature might think is food.
I'm interested in cleaning up the environment and making sure the earth is not polluted.
At the end of the day, it's about connecting with nature and a whole lot more.
They are going to be making really tough decisions for our future. It's very humbling to know that this program might be a really small influence or a really large influence that impacts them in making positive decisions and protecting the environment in the future.
If you're not hungry now, you will be in a minute. Up next, going for the greens.
Teens get a lesson in sustainable living, then enjoy the tasty fruits of their labor. And it looks good. Life is tasting pretty good for the teens you're about to meet.
That's because they're making a big difference when it comes to the food on their plate.
They're learning how to grow food sustainably.
I only wish I'd been there for the taste test.
It's farm to the table fresh for these high school students.
We just need to make it into smaller pieces so we can throw it in.
They're teens taking part in a program called Food What? But before they can eat it, they've got to roll up their sleeves.
People always ask us, are we growing future farmers? And I say, not really. We're growing strong individuals. And I think agriculture presents a really nice opportunity to learn a lot of these skills in a very empowering way. Grab a bunch and cut it above the ground.
Daron Camarchero is the program's director.
This is an organic farm. Everything we do, we use organic principles and practices.
Here, teens from Natural Bridges High School, like Larry Ariza Jr., are getting the scoop on how to farm sustainably, many for the first time.
I just took this opportunity at first just to see what was out here, something to do on a Friday, but now I found out there's a whole different way of farming besides just using like pesticides. There's like all organic and all that stuff.
All that stuff includes not using chemicals, composting, and of course, getting some dirt under the nails.
Today we planted popcorn and squash and pumpkin.
So what we need to do, and we can all do it, is grab a bowl and you can just pop them off of the kernels.
Senior Kieran Cajuano is on board with the organic approach.
We don't use pesticides at all, so that creates less toxins in the air and is sustainable. What goes into your soil is what's going to go into your body. So if you get nutrient-rich soil that's organic and doesn't have any toxins or pesticides at all, then you're going to eat it and then it's going to help your body. If you start eating those chemicals and soon enough, you're going to have a couple problems.
And it's not good for the earth. We got enough bad stuff in the earth already as it is with our cars, so by making the farming, it just makes it 10 times as worse.
A lot of native peoples use this intercrop. Why?
So after these guys get a lesson in how to plant, the harvest begins.
When you're harvesting this spinach, go for nice big leaves and just pluck them off. Just like that. It'll be quicker than using the cut.
We harvest some peas, some spinach, some lettuce, and they're gonna grow back as quickly as we pick them, pretty much.
Bet you can guess his favorite.
Has to be the peas. They're the sweetest.
It's really exciting to see them get engaged, and especially some of our youth that wouldn't necessarily shop at a fancy health food store or anything are taking this produce, making a connection with it, bringing it home to their friends or their families, talking about changing habits.
I'm really looking into sustainable agriculture and all the benefits that it does for the world.
Now, it's back to the kitchen, where the controlled chaos begins. In this case, farm fresh veggie tacos guaranteed to satisfy.
Probably the best part of every day. We do great work, we'll bust out a whole, few rows, transplanting, whatever, weeding, but it's usually when we eat the meal. It's usually when we sit down and we break bread together. That's where a lot of the pieces sink in. Maybe it's like the stomach activism, but it's when they start saying, oh yeah, we grew that spinach, and now we're cooking that spinach, and this tastes good, and I could do this at home. That's one of the most exciting parts, I think, is when they start to make all those connections and then they take a lot of ownership over it.
It's a lesson in farming that goes far beyond what ends up on the plate.
I'm definitely having fun, and I think it's something that everyone should kind of be a part of or have more knowledge about. And it's really change for yourself is a change for the world.
It's kind of amazing to see how you can just change the world by a little bit.
Well, it's time to go to the Ecolingo Dictionary. What is sustainability?
It means to endure. When we talk about ecology, it describes how biological systems remain diverse and productive over a long period of time.
Wetlands, forests, and oceans are great examples of sustainable biological systems. But these areas can be threatened when we don't use natural resources responsibly.
So humans play a big role in making responsible choices that can serve and protect the world's naturally sustaining habitat.
The well-being of the planet and its natural resources depend on it.
Sustainability. Know the eco-lingo and be a part of the solution.
Well, that's it for us this week on Eco Company.
If you're doing something good to help the planet, we want to hear about it.
Send us an email or video. Just go to eco-company.tv.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next time
on Eco Company.